Okay, so we're going to start the Daf Yomi. We're on Ayin Aleph. It's pretty short, so let's try to do this very quickly because it's Erev Shabbos and Erev Shabbos Agadol. We've got a lot of things to do, and we could get this out of the way and fulfill the mitzvah of learning, and then get back to work. So on the bottom of Ayin Amud Beis we had a Mishnah. It says Baleshes Nichnas Ala'ir. Baleshes, Rashi says Chayil al Shem she mechafshim v'chosrin karbo baleshes k'aminon v'chapish uvalash. The word baleshes, it means an army, a troop of an army, soldiers. Why is it called baleshes? Because they're searching and trying to find things to loot and plunder. So then they're called boleshes because the Targum, the Aramaic translation of vaychapesh, of searching, is uvalash, that there's so that's what it means, voleshes, that they're marauders, they're looters, but in this case they're soldiers because we're seeing b'shas shalom b'shas milchama. So baleshes shenichnas al'ir b'shas shalom chavius psuchis asuras sumas mutaris. That when a group of soldiers like this come into a city and they're looting while they're there, think about the Third Amendment, the Quartering Act, that they would force their way into homes and take what they want. So the open barrels of wine are not kosher, but the sealed barrels are kosher. In the wartime, all of the wine is kosher because they don't have time to make nisuch, to make a libation. They're too busy with the war to think about anything religious. The Taisvis says Pesuchas Asuras, those are open and not kosher. Mashma Filu Tuva Vlamer Nadai to the B'mayna Paschu K'de Emer El Gave Pulmusa. Now he says even if there are a lot of open barrels, we don't say that they're trying to find money the way we said with the other cases. V'hainu Mishum Pulmusa Boim Ligbois Mas Mimelech Vernuna. The Pulmusa, this other group, they're tax collectors, so that's why they're trying to search for money so they can tax the money. And it was that type of robbery there, government robbery, right? That's why they said they're opening for money. When they're quartering soldiers, they want to eat and drink. They're not looking for money. So now we're on our Gemara, a very brief Gemara to this Mishnah. Raminhi. We can contrast this with another Mishnah, Irsha Kavashua Karkom, Kala Kehanish B'Seicha Psulas. A city that was vanquished by Karkom. What's a Karkom? It's Matzor. It's a marauding army, which is translated in Deuteronomy 20. Matzor is translated Karkomen. So that's what it means. All of the Kohanos, the wives of the Kohanim, Shepsocha Psulos. There's a Mishnah that they can't be with their husbands because they were probably raped by the soldiers. The Ashes Koina Saraf Ba'oinus. Fallacious Yisrael Lo. That's because a Kohen's wife, if she was forced she's still not allowed to go back to her husband, even if it was by force, as opposed to a Levite or an Israelite, other Jew. If it's against her will, then she's allowed to go back to her husband. So the contrast with this is that do they don't have time to perform nisuch. How long does it take to take wine and pour it out as a libation, or have in mind some religious ceremony with the wine? They don't have time for that, but they have time to, if it's a wartime, they have time to rape. And so Amar Mari, so the Gemara answers, Amar Av Mari, Lanasichin Panai Lavol Yesh Panai. It's true. They don't have time to perform a libation to the idol, but they do have time to engage in cohabitation. Part of the answer, though, would be that a soldier, he can't overcome the sexual desire, as opposed that he could, but he probably doesn't have in mind to engage in some religious activity like performing a libation, even if the religious activity is quicker than the sexual activity. And so that's part of the problem with the soldiers. Meaning the question is the distraction of wartime. That's the question. So a new Mishnah, Ha'umnan Shal Yisrael, Shalach Lahem Akum Chavis Shal Yain Nesach V'Schar Mutter Loimer Tein Lano Estameha Mish Nichnas Al Rishus An Aser. So we had the same question. What are you doing, Shlomi? What are you doing? Why'd you turn that back on? What are you doing? Where are you going? So we had, it's similar to many questions of with the Hobby Lobby case, those type of questions. A Jewish worker, if their boss is a pagan, and he sent them non-kosher wine as their payment, whether they want to drink it or they want to sell it, we're not allowed to do that because it's prohibited. It's an Isser Hanoah. So before they got the wine, they're allowed to tell the boss, "No, give us money instead. Go sell it and give us the money." But once they accepted it, it became part of their property and took legal possession of it. They can't give it back to the pagan boss and ask them to give them money instead. So they have to take care of that before it's done. So the Gemara says, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav Yehuda said name of Rav Mutar Ladam Leimer La'akum Seivafis Alai Manasa Melech. If Rav Yehuda said the name of Rav, that a person who has to give some of his wine as a tax for a king, he can say to a pagan, "Go give the money and I'll pay you. Go give the wine and I'll pay you for it. Go give the wine for the tax and I'll give you money." Meisvei. So they challenge us. Al Yomi Adam La'akum Ultachtei Loitzer. There's a brisa though that says that you're not allowed to to have a pagan go pay your tax debt for you with non-kosher wine. So Amalei Rav. So Rav said, no, ul tachtai loitze kumart. When he says go in my place, which is what the Bryce is saying, that's not the same as going and pay my portion. Ha loy damya el laha aval oimer loy maltenim in oitzer. Rather, it's the next part of the Bryce where it says save me from the obligation by paying it. So that a lot of things have to do with semantics in the halacha. And if you say things the right way, that's how it is. People are going to say, well, this is a subterfuge. And it's not really a subterfuge because it depends on exactly how it's done, and it's also being realistic. And also, as we said before, it's by by the law. If a person wants to go above and beyond the letter of the law, that's a pious thing to do. So we have a new Mishnah. Moicher yenei la'akum, pasak at shlei modad, dam of mutarin, modad at shlei pasak, dam of asurin. So what about a Jew selling kosher wine to a pagan, and when he takes it, it's going to not be kosher anymore, right? So he said if he set the price before he measured the wine, meaning he has a pre-apportioned bottle and he's selling the bottle, and he said this bottle's $10, and so the price is set already. That's okay. Then he could take the money. But if the pagan went to measure out wine and they're trying to figure out a price and so forth, then the money is not allowed. Again, this is talking about open barrels and so forth. If they buy it while the bottle is still closed, that's their own business. So the Gemara says, Amar Meimar Mashicha Ba'akum Koina. So Meimar says that we have different kinyonim, different ways of making acquisitions, and one of them is Mashicha, is dragging something, Teda. So here's a proof. You should know this. The Hane Parsoi Mishadre Pardashne La Dar De Flehadru Bahu. The Persians would send gifts, bribes to one another, and they never would take them back. So Rav Ashi said, you could always tell you Mashicha Ba'akum Eina Koina, that no, dragging something does not affect an acquisition for a pagan. The fact they don't rescind the gift is because they are arrogant and they're too proud to rescind the gift. Shlomo, what are you doing? Don't touch that. I'll take care of it. Rav Ashi said, Mana min Allah. Why do I say this? Rav would tell Jewish wine sellers, Kikalisu, Charmer La'akum. This is when you measure out wine to pagans, Shaklu Zuzi Minayu Vahadar Karilon Lahu. You take the money first and then you measure out the wine. If they don't have money with them, Azifunhu, they can lend them the money, Vahadar Shakilnu Minayu, and then take it back before pouring the wine. That's heavy al vagabayim. So the money should be alone with them. The Eloi of Dinas who hachiki have yainesech b'shusaychu kahave. Because if you don't do that, the wine could become yainesech as soon as they touch it. Well, it's still in your possession of shekilsu, and when they take the money, the may yainesech because shekilsu, then you're taking money for yainesech, which you're not allowed to do. So you have to know what you're doing. Shlomi, please don't do that. But so if you think dragging something is a kinyan for a pagan, for a non-Jew, not just a pagan, any non-Jew really here. Once he pulls the measure containing the wine, then it's Mashiach Yainesich Lahavi Adanagabe. It doesn't become Yainesich actually until he touches it. Kyle, Ram. Alright. If you guys are going to make noise, I'm going to have to end this video now. And this is the end of the Amud. We'll make the next Amud later. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm not taking a picture video. Alright, so this was 71A.